This video response is going to go out to J. Matthew Turner, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled "Daniel is a Real Bully." And here is my response to you. Now, Johnny was the one who stole Allie's radio, as you gratefully acknowledge in your video. However, this also makes Johnny not only a bully, but also a thief. Now, Daniel tries to hand the radio back to Allie, but Johnny grabs the radio from Daniel. And this makes Johnny, once again, a bully and a thief. Johnny uses the radio to push Daniel into the sand. This is what starts the fight. So Johnny gets what he deserves. Now, granted, Daniel could have asked Allie to walk away with him, and probably should have. But Daniel saw that Allie could be abused by Johnny. So he tried to defend her honor. That's what Daniel was trying to do. That's when Johnny trips Daniel. Johnny didn't just move away. He actually tripped Daniel. You are very unobservant on this one. Very unobservant. Okay? Johnny, at that point, was only concerned about his reputation. That's all he was concerned about. This guy had an ego, and it got bruised, and he was gonna make an example out of Daniel. That's a fact. Period. Okay? Now then, at the sporting practice, okay, and this is again where you're unobservant. At the sporting practice, I don't know whether it was Johnny or Billy, I don't care who it was. Whoever was with Daniel at the time tripped Daniel deliberately. That was not an accident, that was a deliberate tripping. Okay? Daniel had every right to defend himself at that point. However, he could have informed his coach about the incident and let the coach handle it. That's true. So Daniel was a little misguided about how to handle that situation, but the fact of the matter is Daniel had the right to be angry at that point. That kid was being a bully. Okay? You don't trip people deliberately on the sporting field. Not in practice, not in a game. Period. That was an act of pure bullyism. And I'm sorry, you're very unobservant on that one. Okay? Now, granted, if Johnny was angry about what Daniel did at the dance, he could have taken Daniel on mano a mano. He could have ran after Daniel himself and just handled it man-to-man. But that's not what Johnny did. He gathered up a gang. This was a full-blown gang going after Daniel. Daniel did not physically harm Johnny. He probably ruined his night, but he didn't harm Johnny, period. So there was no reason for Johnny gathering up a gang and going after Daniel, period. If Johnny had that kind of a problem, he could have gone up to the principal, he could have gone up to the school board, he could have done a dozen things. He could have even talked to Daniel's mother about this. But that's not what Johnny did. Johnny gathered up a gang and pummeled Daniel. And Daniel was at risk of being literally pummeled to death. So, you are probably one of the most unobservant people I have ever met on YouTube. Therefore, because of that, and on an academic scale, I give your video a solid F for being unobservant. The end. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.